Oh my gosh, it was awful. I'm being completely honest with
Sure.
you that it was so embarrassing. It was so shameful. I felt like I'd failed. I felt like I would never find love again.
What song would you say was the most challenging for you to write?
29 for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the most honest that I think I could probably, it's kind of like addressing the elephant in the room.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, were you hesitant at all to kind of put that all out there at first?
I think once I had to kind of go back inside. Once I lost my producer
Yeah.
Vesby, brain cancer, and I kind of had this moment where I went, okay, who are you as an artist out, on your own? And what I came to find was that I've always been somebody who never shied away from speaking the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out with a heartbreak ballad about an ex-boyfriend that hurt me with every little thing. I then told you about my apology to my ex, and I hope you're happy now. And so it felt like I had to speak the truth and couldn't shy away from it. And so once I kind of had this moment of like, this is all you've ever done is be honest. I
Yeah.
just kind of decided I had to fully go there or fans weren't going to believe it.
Right. No, totally. And I mean, it's such a vulnerable song. And I mean, you sing on the song that you thought you would find yourself at that age. I mean, so what did you learn about yourself at 29, going through all these hardships and heartaches?
It's so interesting because I feel like, I sing so much in that song of being so lost.
Mm-hmm.
I say I've never been as lost as I've never felt as lost as I do now.
Yeah.
And I genuinely am finding so much more purpose to my life than I even knew was possible. I feel like I'm impacting others in a way that I never thought I would. I feel like I'm giving a face
Mm-hmm.
to something that so many people, especially young people, carry so much shame around. Divorce. That's
Mm-hmm.
not a sexy term. And especially as a young person, you're like, how am I divorced? And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're put on this earth anyways, is to impact people. And if I can do that in a small way like this, I would do it all again.
Sure. I mean, was that so difficult for you to kind of come to that realization at 29 and saying that, like, so many people, I'm so young, I can't believe at 29, I'm going to say I'm divorced. Was that so hard for you to come to that realization?
Oh my gosh, it was awful. I'm being completely honest
Sure.
with you that it was so embarrassing. It was so shameful. I felt like I'd failed. I felt like I would never find love again because I was divorced at so young and was just embarrassed. And I had some girlfriends who just really told me I could use this moment to really use it for good. And Kelsey Ballerini was actually one that I sat with before the world knew what was happening to me. And she goes, do you realize that you could help put a face to something that people think is so bad, but yet you're showing them that they can get through it too? And I remember just feeling like, wow, okay, if I can get to a place where I feel like that, and I really do feel that way now. And I have these connections with people in the middle of a pandemic where I feel closer to country music fans than ever.
I mean, you mentioned before about being reluctant about finding love again and jumping into a relationship. Have you been dating at all? And is that even something that you want to consider right now?
I've been on dates. Yeah. I'm absolutely optimistic and open. It's been almost a year since all of this happened to me. And I definitely have been taking the time to make sure that I'm healed. I think that there are this is a part of my story that will forever be something that whoever I do end up with will have to kind of understand and we'll have to work through. But I'm so open and excited and hopeful for when the day comes that I do fall in love again.
Definitely. Do you want to make your next relationship public? Because like you said, like you're like, absolutely not.
No, no, I will tell you that I learned the hard way that maybe putting everything out on social media about your private life is not smart, because then you have to turn it back and then people feel like you owe it to them to tell them why.
Right.
And that's been like an interesting thing for me of like, well, wait a minute. I I don't owe you that. But then I go, oh my gosh, they have this expectation of what I used to put out there. So why would I not put this out here? So I can assure you, you will not know if I'm dating, who I'm dating, what I'm doing, whenever that comes, until I'm like really ready to do that. And I don't think I'll ever do it like I did.
No, I mean, I don't blame you. It's, I'm sure it's hard as somebody in the public eye to find that balance of how much you want to put out there and how much you don't. Yeah. I mean, do you want to get married again? Is that something that you do want to have in the future?
I think so. I definitely, I want to get married, and experience marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I got married, but I didn't experience being married. And so I think in a lot of ways, it'll feel like the first time whenever that does happen again. And I'm hopeful.